Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. Today is Tuesday, September 17th. Blinked and boom, it's the middle of September. My name is Jen Neitzel, and I'm the creator of Marketing for Notaries. I am one of your co-hosts today, and I am being joined by a very special co-host today, the one and only Matt Miller with the California League of Independent Notaries. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Jen. Hey, everyone. Looking forward to today's call.
Thank
Um,
you for being here. I
you're
appreciate it. Laura's on
welcome.
vacation today. And so, Laura is always, the God bless her, she knows notary law like Matt does, like, blindfolded and turned around backwards. I don't. And so when she told me she was on vacation, I thought of one person and one person only, and that was Matt, to help me answer your questions today. If you guys don't know how this call works, let me remind you really quickly. We are here to answer any question you have, whether it's technical, whether it's about marketing, business needs, whatever it is, we are here to help you. And all you have to do to get in line is to raise your virtual hand, which you can find at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So we're going to start today the way we always do and go over a few announcements to give you guys some time to get those hands raised, get in line, so we can answer your notary business questions. First thing I want to remind everybody is we have a new feature on this call. If you are a little intimidated by raising your hand, we get it. We understand. We have a form that you can now fill out. It's at notarycoach.com/TNT. You can submit your TNT questions on this form. Please don't submit things that you need an answer to right away. This is just for the TNT call. The other announcement I want to talk about today is an innovator. We have launched the Innovator Spotlight through our Notary Business Builder program, and those are the products and services that we are promoting on this program every week. And this week, we have a new innovator, the spotlight for the month. And I'm going to completely butcher this last name, and I can't remember how to say it. Jen and Matt, if you guys can help me out. Lisa Pisau, is that how you say her last name?
I
Jen, do
used
you
to
know?
have it. I've already forgotten how to say it.
I know. I'm just going to completely butcher her name. I'm sorry, Lisa, if you're on the call. She has a notary swag shop on Etsy, and she has some really cute things. She's got coffee mugs, she's got a little purse bag, she's got t-shirts, she's got all kinds of neat notary branded things. So if you're looking for a little pick-me-up, maybe a gift for your notary friends, it's an absolutely great place to go and find something that that they'll love and bring a little smile to their faces. All right, how are we doing on hands raised? Gosh, guys, everybody's going to be
Pretty good.
quiet today. Well, Matt, how about I kick things off with a question from our form from the TNT website. Let me just pop over there really quickly. I specifically didn't bring this question up last week because I could talk to you for hours about this. It's something that I love to talk about. But Matt, I would really love to hear your input on this. This question came in a couple of weeks ago, and it says, I've just become a notary. And I'm looking for advice on how to get started with a part-time notary business. I work full-time. How do I create a client base? Now, it's a pretty broad question, Matt. So I would love to hear for a brand new notary who's working full-time, how can he or she, whoever submitted the question, build their client base out of the gate?
Yeah, this is a good one. And I think this happens for a lot of notaries before they become full-time notaries. And what I would suggest is positioning yourself as the evening or weekend notary. And you can do this relatively inexpensively. First and foremost, you want to get yourself Google My Business profile set up. And all throughout that, with the hours and the fields for your services, you can specify that you work evening hours, weekend hours, holiday hours, um, as well as Craigslist, your local neighborhood, next door neighborhood profile, alignable profile. And if you are doing loan signing work or want to get into loan signing work, I would also suggest a profile on Notary Rotary, Notary Cafe, and perhaps your state's notary association website if your state has one as well. And finally, not last, certainly not least, but there is also a great directory on the NNA website called findanotary.com or .org, I believe. And this is turning out to be a really powerful directory. And then, beyond more online advertising, that sort of thing, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your relatives, tell everyone that you talk to that you are the go-to evening and or weekend notary. A lot of people will be interested to hear that because it's tough to get to a notary during normal business hours, especially if they're working or if they have kids in school or whatnot. So I think that you have a real opportunity there. You just need to let people know that you are out there offering your services and when and where you do it. Jen?
Yeah, you just gave a list of amazing free places you can go. I didn't hear it. Maybe you said it and I skipped over it. That happens. Your social media presence is a great way to advertise your services to your friends and family for free. One of the things I actually been thinking about this a lot lately. We tend to, in the beginning of our business, when we're starting out, we feel kind of embarrassed almost. Has anybody felt that way? Like a little embarrassed to talk about their business or worried that people are going to judge them for starting a business? And what do you mean you're going to be a notary? You can't make any money that way, and like all that stuff that goes on. The best way to get past that is just to move right through it and let everybody know, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, because your friends want to support you and your family wants to support you. And the great thing about the part-time notary business folks out there, just so all of you know, folks like me that only want to work from 9 to 5 really appreciate you. And it's important that you get out and you attend calls like this and start to meet other notaries in your area. Because if they get a call for a 3 o'clock in the afternoon appointment and they're already booked, or excuse me, a 7 o'clock at night appointment, and they're already booked with something with their family, they can call you and refer that business over to you. So it's really important that you're also networking with other notaries to help with their overflow business as well. So I hope that answered that question. And Matt, I think you and I could probably sit here for 3 days and talk about the particulars of all of those things, right, that we can do to get word out about our business. Keep in mind, and this is for everybody on the call, with regular networking, both with people in your community, with other notaries, with regular marketing practice, working your network every single day, within about 12 to 18 months, you will have a successful mobile notary business, but it takes the effort, it takes the consistency, it takes that work for an extended period of time to make that happen. And in the grand scheme of things, 18 months to set up your own business, it's not that long. Right. So great question that was submitted on our TNT link. If you would like to submit one, the link is in the chat. And let's go to Celicia Young-Jones in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hello.
What's your
Hello.
question?
Hello. How you doing today? My question is about credit card fees.
Okay.
Now, I personally have a motto. I think you know my motto. Always make it easy for people to give you money.
Yes.
I never want to do something that makes it harder for people to give you money. But I just keep finding more and more that people are tacking on that 3% or tacking on that 1% or 2% or whatever it is. And I don't understand why, because that's just the cost of doing business. That's just an expense that you're going to write off anyway. So
Mhm.
tell me what I'm missing, because I must be missing something.
You know, I struggle to understand it myself, Celicia. This is very much a Florida thing. I speak to a lot of notaries in Florida, and I know you guys, it's just caught on like wildfire in the state to advertise, you know, $15 plus 2% or 3% or whatever, you know, or this cost plus whatever percentage for credit card fees. I I think you are overthinking it. If you can make it easy for somebody and include that fee in the transaction, what they're going to think, I would imagine if they're getting inundated with this kind of stuff in Florida is, wow, that was nice. I didn't have to deal with that extra credit card fee. She really made that easy. And that logs in that little head of theirs, you know, and that they're going to call you again when they need a notary service.
Yeah.
It's I'm not saying Florida is the only place. I'm sure there's other places that do that, but I don't think it's necessary. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I think that if you are a smart business owner, you've already figured out what your costs are and have baked that into your rate card. But I just want to throw out a word of caution here, and that is if you are going to charge these additional fees that you're going to pass through to the consumer, you need to disclose that. You can't just show up and say, oh, by the way, I'm adding 2 or 3% to your bill to cover my card fees.
Yeah.
So make sure you are disclosing
Yeah,
that
I
upfront.
I just can't do, I could in good conscience do that. I mean,
I can't
that's
either.
just,
I'm
that's
the
just the
same
cost
way.
of, that's the cost of doing business. I mean,
Right.
I was going to buy some advertisement from somebody the other day, and they said, oh yeah, well, yeah, it's going to be 3% on top of that. And it's like, no, it's not. But thanks, I don't need to buy anything from you. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
It puts me off too. You know, that's just how I feel about it. I'm sure as many people as there are out there, there's just as many opinions about it. So
I mean,
that's the
would I
great
give
thing about
a
being a
cash
business.
discount or something sometimes? Sure, I will, you know.
Sure, yeah. But Salisha, that's the great thing. You're the business owner. You get to decide. If it's not comfortable for you, don't do it.
Yeah, I just think it's odd. I just wanted to get your take on it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I had this, so weird you brought that up. I just had this conversation like a week or two ago with somebody else in Florida. And I've been hearing it a lot since. So thanks for bringing that up. Cliff Stroller, tell us where you're calling from and what your question is for us. Cliff, are you there?
Looks like you're still on mute, Cliff.
I'm here.
There you
Hey.
are.
Okay. I'm in Springfield, Missouri. This is my second year adding in notary business. I added it to a process serving business that I have 2 years ago. And I had been doing so well up to say April that I was needing to give work away to associates, you know, other notaries I know. And then this summer, it just crashed and I just wasn't getting any calls. And when I look at the Google search, I'm still coming up in my zip code and nearby zip codes is number 1 or from 1 to 3, depending on how it fluctuates, you know, but I'm still 5 stars across the board. So I decided to try and analyze this, you know, investigate a little bit. I looked at my Google reports of my interactions. And in April, this is about 60, averaging it around 60 interactions per month. But as I looked at each month, it slowly declined to now it's down to about 6 interactions per month. So yeah, it was between 60 and 80 before, and I cannot figure out what's going on. And as I said, I still come up in the top 3 in the search, and I'm still 5 stars across the board. I just do general notary work and specialty notary work. I mean, I did get certified as a trust delivery agent, but that hasn't quite materialized yet. Anyway, I can't figure out why, you know, things have just crashed and the steady decline is the only information I have. Steady
Okay.
decline since April. Does
Matt,
anyone?
do you want to kick
Yeah,
this
I'll
off, Matt?
start out. I would ask you to look back at the first part of the year from maybe January through April or May and see what you were doing differently because something, as you said, has changed. See if there was something that you were doing. Maybe you were posting more on social media. Maybe you had put an ad someplace or a listing someplace or a directory citation someplace, or maybe you were doing a blog, right? And further, once you figure out what's different, go back to doing that. But realize that your marketing efforts, what you do today, probably isn't going to pay off until maybe 6, 8, 12, 13 weeks down the road. And also, I'll mention that the general notary business is a bit seasonal, right? You're going to have a lot more stuff in the first part of the year due to the new calendar year, spring break, summer's coming, than you are towards the end of the year. I mean, I'm in September now. September is typically a slower month for me because everyone's back to school, back to work, and then things pick up towards the end of the year because everyone's trying to get everything dated before the end of the year. So I would take a look at those two things. What were you doing differently back then? And realize that sometimes general notary work can be a little bit seasonal. What do you think, Jen?
Well, I absolutely agree with what you said, Matt. The other thing I would add is I didn't hear, Cliff, you were talking about any other marketing efforts you had except for Google Business Profile. Is that the only thing that you have out there?
Yes. Well, I do. I hand out business cards. I'm in the hospitals quite a bit,
Yeah.
and I always kind of make rounds in there, hit a few of the nurses' stations, at least on the floors that I'm visiting,
Good.
hand out
That's
business
fabulous.
cards. I have gone to some law offices. Now that's a dual effort because I'm also marketing my process serving when I go there. But
Mhm.
that's pretty much it. I just recently ordered pens because I know pens are a real hot item for marketing, and they'll be arriving next week. But I'm not really doing anything different than I've been doing all along when I started the business up.
Yeah.
Just asking for reviews.
Maybe
Sure.
it's time to add a new component to your marketing efforts.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going, Matt. I think that, Cliff, one of the things that it can be overwhelming to think about is just Google Business Profile and just dropping off extra business cards or some pens when you're already in a hospital or care facility. Um, while those things are important, they're just two small components of an entire marketing package and framework that you need. Your marketing should include the things that you are doing. And by the way, you should be interacting with that Google Business Profile and adding videos and pictures of you around town and things like that every week to keep your listing high and keep people interested in calling you because they see the kind of person that you are. But it's, a good marketing plan is comprised of many different things, including networking and going to different networking events, including leveraging social media that's free and getting that out and engaging with businesses in your community on LinkedIn. Getting out like you're doing already, maybe broaden your scope a bit about meeting other business owners, and going to the places where they no longer offer notarization like they used to. And I'm specifically referring to banks, and a lot of shipping centers. Sometimes they don't have a notary there. So while it can be frustrating when you're watching your analytics on Google as you're going through, like what Matt says, it is kind of seasonal and you can go through like a dry phase in your general notary work. If you're not out there doing all the other things too, it's really hard to find out. It's really hard. I mean, it's hard to nail down, like, why is this happening to you? Right? Except for me to say you have one source of marketing, and that's your Google business profile, and maybe doing, dropping off some pens and stuff. Does that make sense?
It makes some sense, but I mean, it worked before, just relying on for the most part, Google. And I can't understand why, if it worked before, it isn't working now.
It
Well,
could.
go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say, Google profiles get stale if you don't pay attention to them and update them and post updates and photos and things of that nature. And because if you think about it from Google's perspective, they want to serve the searcher or the customer with the best possible experience. So naturally, the algorithm is going to pick a active Google business profile versus a non-active business Google profile when returning results.
Mhm.
But, well, there's another situation that I'm presented with. Being a process server, it's necessary to keep a low profile, like not to have my face all over the place. I don't want people to be able to recognize me, if they're trying to avoid being served.
Let me be very honest with you, Cliff. That's, that's opposing, those are two opposing forces there happening. As a consumer who was going to call a notary to come to my home, and I couldn't see pictures, or there wasn't something up that showed me who you were as a person, I would not be calling you. I'd move on to somebody else if I'm having you come to my home like that.
Right.
So I you need to give some thought to what the consumer, the people that are hiring you, what they are looking for. And nameless and faceless and coming to my house never go in the same sentence for me, or for, I would think, most folks,
Yeah, they are definitely opposing forces.
They
I
are.
haven't thought of it that way, but I do need to find a way to make it work.
Cliff, and there are ways to do it, I'm sure. This is a really deep kind of problem, and it's something that if you and I were in a coaching section, I would be giving you some options to sort of tinker with and try. But I want to point out, if you look in the chat, Celicia Young-Jones has offered to give you some ideas, and she's great at this kind of stuff. I've been working with Celicia for years, and she's really good at this kind of stuff, Cliff. So I would reach out to her. I would also reach out to a lot of other people and start asking them, what do you think I should do for these two opposing forces, right? How should I bridge that gap, and get ideas? Because as a collective, right, you're going to get so much more information from the group rather than just from, one or two people. So if anybody has any advice for Cliff, we would love to see that in the chat. Please feel free to write that. And Cliff, I really do recommend you reach out to Celicia.
Okay, you say she's in the chat here now?
She is. She left you a message in the chat with her phone number.
Great.
And Nancy's got an idea for you in there. There's some other folks in there that are leaving you some advice. So look at all that, think about it, so that, because only you will be the one that finds the right answer. And it may not be the first thing you try. Hell, Cliff, may not be the 15th thing you try. You might have to tinker with this for a while, because this is more of a complicated issue.
Right now, do these chats stay up after the meeting's over?
No, sir, they do not.
I need to find them now.
Yeah,
Okay.
just open your chat box at the bottom of your screen.
Okay, I've got
And it
that
should open up there over on the right. And mine, I'm just now open. You got to scroll up a little bit.
But Cliff, also, when you're in your chat, depending on what device you're using, there are 3 little dots at the top that's right next to Tuesday Notary Titans. If you click that, you can save this chat as well. So you can go back and.
Oh, thank you for that. I forgot about that, Jen. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
And I just
scrolling through
reposted,
the chats now to get it figured out.
Cliff, I just
Okay.
reposted Felicia's number for you. It says, call me Cliff 904.
Got it.
That's her phone number.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will do that. Thank you so much.
you
I'll
got
keep
it. You
working
got
on
it. And keep scrolling up. You got some good advice in there that you should definitely be taking a look at.
Will do.
All right. Thank you, Cliff. That was a really good question. That got me thinking. Um, all right. Rob in Trophy Club, Texas, how was your fake signing that you did, the training that you did? I heard you did some training with one of our notary business builders, Daniel Knott.
Yes, so you know Dan, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually the guy that kind of convinced me, okay, let's get into this. I met him at
Awesome.
a
Well, what's your question for us?
Yeah, I kind of have two, but I'm gonna start with the one that I really started with, and the second kind of ties into Cliff, so if that's okay.
Sure.
I've been thinking a lot about the Corporate Transparency Act Facilitator course that Bill offers. Just because, hey, that deadline's coming, I'm getting started. I feel like that's something there, but I'm also like, well, how successful is it for a notary versus like some business owner that's like, I got a CPA, they should tell me that or something like that. So before I kind of dive in and buy the course, could you give me a little details of how that's working for
I'm
notaries?
actually going to have someone else answer this question for you. Her name's Jennifer Cooper with JKC Mobile Notary, and she has implemented the Corporate Transparency Act into her business, and it's been quite successful. So I'm going to let her tell you all about it, Rob.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, Rob, I like that you put your question in chat, but you're right. We're running out of time to offer this service because after the end of the year, these people that are not filed for their Corporate Transparency Act are going to start getting fined a lot of money every day. So if you want to jump on it, I would jump on it. Success. I've probably, since the time I took that class, the minute it came out, I started offering that service the minute after that happened. And I've probably done 17 different companies, both people that have found me online. And I went door to door in my community to small businesses and said, hey, you guys need to do this and I can help you do it. And I've probably done most of those have been in my hometown, downtown, walking around and talking to people. And so I do a flat fee, and it doesn't matter how many owners are in the business. I make sure I give them a receipt and I send them the printout of this, that this was completed, because people are doing this for them and not doing a good job. That's been one of the things that has gotten me the most business, is putting out that little thing saying, if somebody screwed this up, call me because I can fix it. You know, so if you're going to do it, I would not spend any more time thinking about it. Take the class, get it started, jump on it quickly, because it's going to be pointless and mute once the year is up. There's not much we can do. We can't get their money back. And I don't know what the process is going to be for them to file after the first of the new year. So yeah, it's a great course. You're going to have, you have to hustle and sell it like you do your notary business. This is not going to, you're not going to put it out there and all of a sudden get business. You're going to have to, you're going to have to hustle it. But people need help and they don't even know they need help.
Right.
And so
That's exactly what I'm thinking. It's like Q4 is here, deadline is here. Pressuring them, is going to hopefully gain something for me. That's why I've been debating it. So, okay. I appreciate it.
You guys want to pay $500 a day every day that you don't file this? Because that's what they're looking down the barrel at.
Right.
So
Yeah,
there's
and
some pressure points there.
for anyone that's muted right now, not hearing this is a thing that even if you may have not done as your LLC, and I know that from Bill and someone I spoke with yesterday. So I'm about to register my LLC now, so get it done. I have 90 days, just get it done. So
Yep. Jen, can you put that in the chat? The course Lisa was asking about it. Can you
find it right now?
Yeah, can you go find that? Thank you so much for your input on that. Matt, do you have anything to add for Rob?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, but as Jen said, time's running out because we're getting into the fourth quarter here pretty soon. So now would be the time, and I would imagine you're probably going to have a mad rush in December of businesses wanting to get their filing done. So get educated now, get your marketing going now. That way you can clean up on this, because after the first of the year, I don't know that there will be such a demand for this type of service.
Absolutely. All right, Rob, you said you had a second question for us as well.
Yeah, someone else mentioned this in the chat as well. It's about the Google My Business profile. And I have heard from somewhere a while ago, but haven't seen it in the Notary Coach course or whatever. I can't remember his name that hosts that course there.
Jim
But
Allen.
yeah, that's it. That it's better to have a virtual address than, like, say, my home address as registering for my business. Is that the case? Because like I said, I haven't seen it on there.
No, so the way it works now, and let me just preface this, Google changes this stuff all the dang time and just drives everybody nuts with it. But you need to I'm sorry, Matt, can you pick up on that for me for just a second? I'm sorry, my dog. Go ahead, Matt. Can you finish that one out?
Can you repeat your question, Rob?
Sure. So somewhere I heard something about with the Google My Business that Google prefers a business address over a home address. And so that you would be brought down lower by having your home address as your business. It's something I've like looked into for virtual addresses. There's one in Trophy Club where I live that the fee they want for a virtual address is so out of line with the rest of them that are down the road. And so I just wasn't sure, like, I'd rather keep my home address if I can, but if it's going to hurt me that and make it almost pointless. And I haven't heard of it on the course. So
if you're currently already using your home address and you're not in Google jail, I would not change a thing.
okay.
Agreed.
But I had not heard the distinction between a home address versus a business address. What I have heard is that Google wants a physical address.
Okay.
So no post office boxes. And these virtual addresses, the Google algorithm knows, right? If it sees 20 businesses at the same address, it's going to start to flag those profiles, and you might end up in Google jail. So when people ask me this question, I say, make sure you use a physical address.
Okay.
And that seems to be the ace in the hole. I have a virtual address only because I don't want people showing up at my home, but I've had that for many, many, many years. But in your case, you already have an established address in your Google profile, and it sounds like your Google profile is working for you. If you would change that now, it's going to flag your Google profile, and then all of your other citations out in the interwebs aren't going to match. So that's going to hurt your ranking as well.
Okay.
Right, but also you said something about not wanting people to show up at your house. Google, when you put your home address in Google, there's a button you can click that says I don't take it. Yeah. So nobody's ever shown up to my house. They ask to, they've never done it. So there's a way to do that so that people aren't coming to your door. But you're 100% right. If you're already working in Google, working for you, you change that. Like me moving, it took me forever to get Google back verified because I moved 20 minutes away. So it doesn't like that. So it will freeze up on you and make you jump through loops and fire to get it back going. So just be careful.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I'm so sorry about that. My dog was choking. I want to add, she's fine. I want to add one thing, Rob. I talked to more notaries that have issues with Google when they do use one of those internet addresses than ones that just use their normal address and click the little box next to it that says to hide it because you're a service-based business. So my advice on that would be, no, I wouldn't do it.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You got it. You got it. Sorry, my dog just scared the you-know-what out of me. My heart's like,
I'm glad she's okay.
She's fine. I don't know what she got into, but she's fine. Patty in California, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your time and I learn a lot from you guys. So thank you. I wanted to bring up something that happened to me last week. And in all the time that I've been working as a notary and live scan technician, I had never had somebody that walked into my office telling me with an ID only last name, no first name. So I looked at it. I checked the ID. It was a California ID, looked legit. I asked him, what else do you have? Thank God he had his passport, same thing, only last name. Social security card, he had two, one initially just with the last name, and then he had to go back and get it reissued with the last name and saying no name given, no first name given. So I even took it 2 steps further. I called the Department of Justice and the Department of Motor Vehicles, because I had never seen that. And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to live scan this person, and it's wrong.
I have never seen that. It's like Cher or Madonna or something.
No.
Matt, what
This
do you say
gentleman
about
was
this?
from
Yeah,
India.
this happens. People don't have
Yes, it
middle
does.
names. People don't have first names, or they only go by a letter. I see that a lot in California for a
Well,
first name.
the DMV told me that as long as his passport reflected the same, and then he showed me the social security card and everything looked legit.
So
But
what is your apprehension to live scanning him?
well, because I didn't want that like as a notary, when they come to me, I'm supposed to state, this is who you truly are. This person truly appeared before me and I fingerprinted him.
Okay.
So I take it as serious as when I'm notarizing a document for somebody. So when I called the DMV and they said, yes, this is fine. It happens, it's rare, but it does happen. But as long as you have all the documentation that you're telling me, then you're okay to go forward with it.
Yeah.
Then I work for a criminal defense, so that's probably makes me more suspicious. So I'm talking to my boss and she says, yes, sometimes when they're giving them up for adoption, they don't give them a first name, and throughout their lives, they go no first name given, which is kind of sad. But she says it happens. She's had a couple clients like that. But I myself, in all the years, and I've been notarizing since 94, I had never seen that. And then he was from India. He was from a foreign country. So that made me more like wonder why,
Well,
So
That
could be a
actually makes it
cultural
more,
thing.
that
Yeah.
makes
That
it
makes it-
more explainable to me,
Yeah,
honestly.
agreed.
Yeah. But go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah,
So
no, I
I just
agree.
wanted to bring that up because since I had not come across it, I wanted to make sure that people were aware of this, that it does
Well,
happen.
Good point. Thanks for
And-
sharing, because this does happen. I've not seen no first name, but I have seen a letter as a
A
first
letter,
name.
right?
I've seen no middle name. That happens frequently.
No, I don't have a middle name,
Yeah. So what I would say here is, if you match the physical description and the photo presented to me on the identity credential, and you can show me other forms of ID in your wallet, then I would comfortably, or I would say confidently, move forward.
No, I remember that from Laura.
Yeah.
What else do you have in your wallet?
What
Show
else
me
you
what you
got?
have in your wallet, right?
Got that Costco card? Love Costco. They got pictures on them now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then with the credit card ish question, backing up a little bit. I, for one, do not charge a credit card fee because I take it as a course of doing business. It's an expense. The only time that I would charge a fee would be when the credit card is not manual, I'm not present, because I'm charged a higher fee and I make it very clear in my credit card authorization that if the credit card is not present, there's going to be a percentage charged of the fee, for the fee.
Well,
But
and I think
that
as
is
long as
the
you're making
only
it
time.
clear, As long as you're making it clear and your customers know that, you know, it just like I said to Celicia, it's how you as the business owner want to set up your individual business.
Correct.
And what is working for you. But thank you for sharing the story about the one name. I have never heard of that
No, I
before.
want to make sure because it really took me aback. And then I thought, you know
Sure.
what, I need to share this.
I appreciate you sharing that so that we all know that as long as we do our job, which is our due diligence to verify the name, you know, even if it is just one name, that's the way it is. I always thought it was just reserved for celebrities, though.
Yes.
One name.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
guys.
All
Thank you,
famous
Patty.
Asians.
All right, Maria Morales, where are you calling from and what is your question for us today?
Hi, yes, I'm calling from Azusa, California, actually. And my question is, I I've had this answered before, but I keep forgetting and I forgot to actually write it down. So my question is, when you're doing, say, loan documents and they are from another state and they're going to be recorded in another state, I know that for a jurat, we're supposed to use the California format. And then for an acknowledgement, we can use another state's format if they're going to be recorded over there. But I guess my question is, does it have to have the box on the top? Because I was reading the handbook, and it says that it must be in that format, and it shows the box. So I'm just wondering, does it have to have the box on the top, or can it not have the box on the top and still you fill out that acknowledgement and it be okay with us in California? I don't know if that makes sense.
So
That is a
let's-
Matt question.
Yeah. So let's clarify. Yes, if you're a California notary taking a jurat in the state of California, you must always use a California jurat. There are 0 exceptions.
Okay.
And if the receiving party balks, you send them a page of the handbook that explains as such. When it comes to an acknowledgement for a document that is being notarized inside the state of California, but is going back to another state, you may use their acknowledgement form so long as it does not ask you to verify title or capacity. So for example, in loan docs, it might say Matt Miller, trustee of blah, 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 blah trust. I would not be able to use that because that's asking me to verify the capacity of trustee, or Matt Miller, a married man, right? You can't use that.
Right.
You do not need to follow the California acknowledgement because it's not a California document. It's not a California acknowledgement. So you don't have to put the disclaimer box up there. It's going back to the state where that acknowledgement applies, in other words. However, if you're in the state of California and the document is going to be used in the state of California, then I think the wording is I think it says the notarial language shall appear as. And that's when you always would use the California acknowledgement with the disclaimer box at the top. But when it's going back to another state, you don't have to add the disclaimer box.
Okay. So, okay, I guess let me add on to that question really quick.
Sure.
So okay. Okay, so this is where I get confused because sometimes the property itself, right? The property itself, that they are, say, refinancing or whatever it is they're doing is in the state of California, but the package is not going to go to a place in California. It's going to go to, say, I don't know, Minnesota, but the property itself is in California. That's where I gets me confused. I'm like, are they going to be recording in Minnesota or are they going to be recording this in California?
Well, the deed would be recorded in California because the property exists in California. All the other loan docs and all that could be wherever the lender is. Maybe that's Minnesota, for example. But the deed is definitely going to be recorded in California. So it definitely needs to follow California notarial standards. So lots of times though, in my experience, when the title company and or lender is out of state, but they're working with a California property, somehow, some way, miraculously, the deed always has the California acknowledgement on it, but their other documents will have their state's acknowledgement on it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That those documents aren't going to be used in California, so that's fine. But the deed, it will be. So that one, make a mental note. That one's going to need a California acknowledgement.
Okay. So just pay attention to the property itself. If it's a California property, just to make sure that the deed itself has the box. Okay.
I would
And anything
replace it
else?
altogether if it doesn't,
Okay.
because county clerks in California will reject on a letter if it's
Yeah.
not missing.
Yeah. I know California's recording offices are like really strict. So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm a little confused here, but I think I've been doing it fine because I haven't gotten things back, but I just it gets
Yeah.
me all the time. So
No news is generally good news.
yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you,
welcome. Thanks for asking that,
Maria.
Maria, because that trips up a lot of notaries.
Yeah,
Thank
that would
you.
be confusing. Thank you, Maria. So I want to bring up somebody that is offering some free training this coming weekend. And I wanted to give you guys all an opportunity to hear all about it. So Miss Jen Cooper with JKC Mobile Notary, tell us what you have going on this weekend that's free.
It's free. Thanks, Jen. I am hosting an online workshop on how to start your own notary network. I get a lot of questions, and there's always lots of questions in some of our forums about how can I build a community of notaries around me, near me, to refer business to collaborate with, to complain to. Our spouses, our partners don't understand notary woes, and sometimes just having a notary friend nearby is helpful. So that class is this Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. It is free. If you register, you will get the link to the replay, and I will send you a workbook that works along with the slides in this presentation. So I hope that you guys will sign up. There's only 19 spots left. So get registered and come hang out with me on Saturday morning.
That's awesome. I always love passing along a good quality free opportunity. And Aldana, the link to register that will get you the link to the call is just look up in the chat a little bit and you will find it there. It's this Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Zoom. And who were we talking to earlier, Matt? Oh, no, it was the question from the chat about building a referral network. This kind of stuff that's free, and you can go and meet other notaries in your area, learn about how to start your own networking workshop. I mean, come on, guys. Like, it's a fabulous way to meet other notaries in your area. Thank you so much for doing this, Jen. I'm excited to hear how this goes. And only 19 spots left, so grab that as soon as you can. Matt, did you have something?
Oh, I was just reacting to the awesome news of this free seminar,
training.
because
I know.
having a
Well,
notary
guys,
network can turn your whole business around.
oh my gosh, absolutely. Without question. All right, guys, who else had some questions for us today? The other thing I wanted to remind you guys about, the NNA, the National Notary Association, has been doing summits for the last couple of years. And their fourth quarter Notary Success Summit is coming up October 18th. And I'm so psyched because Bill Soroka, Laura Biewer, and I are the guests. We are talking about their Beyond Loan Signings book. We are talking about effective networking strategies, and we cannot wait to share all this amazing info with you. The link to get registered is in the chat. I highly encourage you. And I'm throwing this out there. We have a personal goal to beat from the last time we were on the NNA Success Summit last year. We had a certain number of registrants, and Bill and Laura and I have set our own challenge to each other to have more people register. So we would really appreciate if you guys would go register and come hang out with us on a Friday afternoon in October to learn more amazing things about your notary business. All right, guys, do we have any other questions before we wrap up today? If there's not anything else. Oh, Lynn has a question for us out in California.
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. Thank
Hi.
you. You know, this is going to be a silly question compared to all the wonderful ones that people are asking about business. I'm about to get my seal for my renewal, and I have had such a hard time with the pre-inking and the self-inking and how many people don't understand the difference and sending me the wrong ink. And I'm trying to get, NNA, I don't know if I'll go through them or there's another place. And I'm just trying to sort through so that it's my stamp isn't, my seal isn't such a source of stress. It's just the first time, this is going to be my third commission. And the first one I had no problem, and I don't remember what I used. The second one, it's been nothing but, and I think it's all, you put the ink in and it doesn't flip around in order to seal it. So to me, that sounds like pre-inked, not sit. But when I get the ink, one of them ruined one of my stamps. So it was obviously wrong. So any guidance that you can give for me to understand and get the right one this time, I would appreciate.
Matt?
I personally have always used the NNA stamps for a couple of reasons. One is they are laser cut, so they're super sharp. And I have a round stamp, I have a rectangle stamp, and I have a mini stamp, and all of them are very, very clear. And if your stamp from the NNA breaks halfway through your commission, they'll replace it for you. So there's a little bit of that assurance behind that purchase with them. However, I know that there are many different stamp providers in California, all of which have been approved by the Secretary's office. As you know, we have to have a letter of authorization to manufacture a stamp. But I think that, you need to find a stamp that's going to work well for you, that's efficient, that is reliable, and isn't going to cause you stress, because your stamp should not be the most stressful thing of a notarization by any means.
Well,
Jen, what do you think?
the stamp, it hasn't been an issue. It's the ink and people getting confused and confusing me.
Oh yeah, you have to be very
ink.
You got to be very careful,
I know I
because
had one stamp ruined completely.
yeah,
ruined.
exactly. Some stamps you can only replace the ink pad. You can't re-ink the ink pad. That's most stamps today, by the way. And then some you can re-ink the ink pad, but in my experience, it's always been safer just to replace the ink pad altogether. And that avoids any issues of your stamp being ruined or leaking all over your bag or smudging or bleeding together where you can't read it. All of those things we don't want to see on any documents.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. That was a great question. Thanks, Matt. Good advice. I am a big believer in, when it comes to your stamp, I never go with the cheapest option, because I always end up having difficulty with those stamps. So just another little tidbit there for you, Lynn, as well. It's true what they say, you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, they were all around the same price. It was just people, it was honestly the ink thing that I was getting bad advice on.
Yeah.
And for the same stamp, both stamps, I paid the same, good quality stamp, but at different places, they didn't, one place I got the stamp from, the stamp out in around Upland, California. Matt may be familiar with the name. They did not realize they were selling me a pre-inked and were recommending self-inking ink. Even though the stamp was right, they themselves were confused about the difference, or else they confused me. I can honestly tell
I would
you.
really look into the NNA stamps because of that guarantee. If you have any difficulty with it at all, they're gonna take care of you and replace it. And that's absolutely worth it. Their customer service is fabulous.
Okay, good. Good.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
You got it. Thanks, Lynn. Lisa
No.
Duffy, how the heck are you, girl?
Hi, Jen.
How are you? So
Um,
good to see you.
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. I actually have COVID right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it didn't hit me hard. Our whole family has it, unfortunately.
That's
But so I'm quarantined for like another 2 days. My question is, I got an email from the United States Notary Association.
Mhm.
Have you heard of them? Tell me about them.
I
Yes,
think
I have.
we've all gotten those emails recently from the United States Notary Association, I believe. Have you seen them as well, Matt?
I have. And really, it's just another directory. I've done a little research on them, and they are a legitimate organization, but I don't really see much value there. That's just for me. But I do know that they are spamming everyone, which is illegal, and they are opening themselves up to legal liability for that. I have tried to unsubscribe multiple times, and I continue to get spammed. So I'm a little bit perturbed, and they have definitely given me a bad impression. But that's my opinion.
100% agree. I have unsubscribed at least 5 times and just find it miraculous that it's my name just keeps popping up on that list of theirs. So I hope that helps answer your question, Lisa. I think it's just so many notaries are getting that right now. They're just
Yeah,
heavy spamming that stuff.
it does. I checked out their website. It doesn't have much context. I mean, it just says some generic, probably AI stuff. Um,
Yeah, it looks like a
and
money grab. That's what it looks like.
yeah, yeah. Okay. I thought the
Well,
same. I just
and
wanted to know.
Lisa, this brings up a good point. Just briefly, lot of people in the notary learning space are very excited to remind you right now that the Fed is going to be cutting rates this week. Oh my God, here it comes, here it comes. It's coming back, it's coming back. And so it's getting people that were maybe not so much on the up and up when it came to their products. And so just be on the lookout for that kind of thing. There's always people out there just trying to money grab, as Matt said. So if it doesn't look right, if it feels funny, if it feels AI generated and you've never heard of it before, bring it here. Let's talk about it. But I think that's something we all need to be on the lookout for. Don't you agree, Matt?
Yeah, and a lot of these directories and things of that nature are going to start popping up again as there is a perception that, oh my gosh, loan signings are going to be dropping from the sky again, which guess what, guys? Even if the Fed cuts rates this week and in next month and the December meeting, that takes a long time to trickle out throughout the mortgage market. So we might see an uptick summer of next year, but it's going to take a while. So be on the lookout for people or directories and things trying to take advantage. This is nothing new in the notary business. There's been many different cycles of different sites posing as these authoritative type notary organizations that really end up just being money grabs. And I feel your frustration, but really, it's about being diligent and making the right decisions.
Yeah. And this is a great place to come if you have a question about it.
Yep.
We will always give you our honest answer. Our last question today comes from Lisa. Lisa, tell us where you are calling from and what your question is for us.
Hello, guys. I
Hey.
am calling in from North Carolina, and my question is, it may sound funny, so if it is, go ahead and laugh at me. So, in my previous lifetime, I have always done workshops, speaking engagements, etc. And so, obviously, that being familiar to me, being a CNTDA, I'm looking for those opportunities. And somebody asked me the other day, like, isn't you putting a workshop around, saying that I recommend or suggest trusts stepping into the legal realm? So where is that line, and what can I say? What should I not say? Because I do not want to end up in notary jail.
Well, this is a great question, Lisa. And if you are putting together a educational seminar to talk about trust and estate plans, are you doing it with a notary, or excuse me, an attorney sponsor?
Not yet. That was
Okay.
one of my hopes, was to put it together and kind of present it, in an outline format and give them an idea of what it was going to entail, and then see if I could get someone to come on board.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And I think there's a way to do that where you sort of become the professional event services coordinator for that particular event, which is not
Okay.
crossing over into anything other than event services, really. You're picking up drinks and maybe some snacks or dinner or whatever the attorney wants to do. But you, by yourself, delivering information about the importance of a trust, as long as your messaging, your advertising is appropriate, that you are a notary public that's certified in trust and estate plans. You are not an attorney offering legal advice. And you're not telling people what to do. You're just explaining the importance of a trust. You're not crossing over into illegal practice of law. What makes more sense, though, Lisa, is for you to partner with an attorney, let them do the heavy lifting, right? You might help
Okay.
provide an audience by inviting people and you can host the food and charge a professional event fee service, and boom, there you go. You're not crossing over into the unauthorized practice of anything if you're walking in with a deli tray and some waters.
Okay, that was my
Doing the
second
heavy
part to my
lifting.
question, was the fee, like what range of fee is appropriate?
I'll be honest with you. It's going to depend on what is happening in your area. What part of the country do you live?
North Carolina?
And what city are you close to?
I'm close to Charlotte.
Okay. Are you in the city of Charlotte?
No, I'm right outside of it off Lake Norman.
Okay. So being able to, you're outside of a city, you're able to, put together an event and help them. If it were me, I would be picking up the phone and talking to other event coordinators in my area and finding out, what do you charge for this kind of stuff? If I was to provide food and drink and a location and maybe even an audience, how should I piece this together? What makes the most sense? Because it really is, you don't want to come in too low, you don't want to come in too high and price yourself out of the market. Matt, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I agree. I think if you can team up with an attorney, it would make for a better event, because while it is okay to talk about the importance of a trust, or maybe even mention that these are the primary documents that make up an estate plan, all of that is okay. You're just sharing information. The problem you're going to run into is you're going to get advice related questions, and you can't field those questions. So having an attorney there will certainly make for a better experience for the attendees of your event.
Okay.
Does that help, Lisa?
It does tremendously, yeah. And I don't really have a whole lot of those relationships built to that level yet. So I guess that's my next step, is to go build those relationships and see who wants to come on board and do this.
You got it. I love your
So thank you.
language. Yet. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for another fabulous Tuesday Notary Titans. Very special thanks to Matt Miller with the California League of Independent Notaries for joining us today. Whether you are a notary in California or anywhere in the country, you can benefit from the California League of Independent Notaries. I encourage you to check it out. Jen Cooper, thanks for all of your help today. Matt, close us out.
Well, thanks everyone for stopping by this week. We'll see you again next week, same time, same channel. In the meantime, have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.